What's up, everyone, and welcome to a brand new podcast that we are starting here on Geeks and Flicks. It's a new old show. This is going to be Director Spotlight. I am your host, Nate. I'm joined by my co-host, Alex.
Hello.
And Evan.
Hello.
And what we're going to be doing here is, if you guys are longtime subscribers or not, we used to do a show called Director's Spotlight. It used to be a live stream. It was one night. We would pick a director and go through their entire filmography, kind of just discuss the movies, give a little review, give a score, and then we would rank them individually where we thought, how we enjoyed those movies. And we actually got a lot of feedback from people like, hey, we like that show. Where did it go? Just with kind of the way the channel has changed over time. It was a lot of work, but we heard you guys and we were like, we're going to bring it back in a little bit of a different format. So this is the new format. So welcome to season 1, episode 1 of the new and improved, hopefully, Director's Spotlight. We're going to be going over one of the, I'm going to say, the most well-known director of all time, Mr. Steven Spielberg. Now, just letting you guys know off the top, if you would please, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Leave us a comment if you enjoy the new format. If you enjoy the movie we're going to be discussing today, which is, of course, Duel from 1971. That's his first movie, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to give you some background. We're going to give you our thoughts, a score, and just kind of discuss the movie on this episode. And then each episode following will be dedicated to a movie. So you get one movie per episode. That way we can let each one get its time to shine. So give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. And if you're listening on the go, this will be available as an audio only podcast as well. So make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, be it Spotify or Apple Podcast or I don't know, iHeart, wherever podcast you get your podcast, we're going to be on there. Now, Alex, I'm going to go to you first because since this is the first episode, we're going to cover some stuff we won't cover every episode. Yeah. I wanted to get your opinion on Steven Spielberg in general. Is he a director that you enjoy? Is he one of your top 10, let's say? Or is he just someone who you like some movies, don't like some movies? Kind of what's your experience with him?
When it comes to Steven Spielberg, it's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting question because at the end of the day, like I watch most of his iconic films, whether it's Jaws, Indiana Jones, Schindler's List is my wife's favorite one. She likes that one a lot. I've seen it once, so
you're gonna see it twice.
No, well, I'm gonna see it for the podcast. But when I first saw it, was on was it 4K? I think when they introduced the 4K.
Okay,
I brought her the Blu-ray set that came with all the names and that glass thing. Never seen it, but she just had that wrapped up. So I was like, oh, all right, you know what? They might release a 4K when they did. So that's when the first time I watched it. I'm trying to think of he was in Goonies. That was Richard Donner. But
yeah, he produced movies, Goonies and Back to the Future, and
yeah. So like it's weird when it comes to Steven Spielberg because sometimes you think you're watching a Steven Spielberg movie, but it's presented by or he's a producer. So you think Back to the Future is his, you think Goonies is his, but it's really not. Robert Zemeckis was Back to the Future. But his name is splattered. Poltergeist, yeah. Well,
which he supposedly might have directed.
Alleged. There's literally no proof of this. It's an alleged, but
yeah. So, but in terms of me going out to the theater and watch, the only way I would do that is not by director. It's by project. So, like for me, Indiana Jones, I went to the theater to see because of the property. But I'm not a type of dude that is like, Christopher Nolan. If the trailer looks good to me, I will go see it. Steven Spielberg is the same way. If it's something that I'm like, wow, I do know his work. He's a great director. But even if sometimes I just be like, I don't think I'm going to watch it.
So it's safe to say he's not in your top 5, let's say, but you are very familiar with his most iconic movies.
Yes, Jurassic Park, and all that stuff. Yeah,
Indiana Jones, Jaws, E.T. I would assume. I know you don't. I think you don't like it from what I remember.
I hate E.T.
Okay, that'll be a fun episode then.
It's gonna be a fun episode. I remember watching it as I hated it. We rewatched it again. I hated it, and then I'm gonna rewatch it again for this thing. But I'm not a big fan of E.T. Okay. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not a crazy, but you know what it is, Nate? I'm the same thing with any director. Even my favorite directors, I won't go to the theater, even if they're like their greatest movie. I'm just like, But
so
I
in
will
general,
put
you
him
don't
on top
seek
5.
movies per se because who directed it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
cool.
Clint Eastwood did a bunch of good movies, and I never went to the theater to see them. And I like him as a director and actor. It's just I'm not those film dudes. You know what I mean? Like you're big on the film and the person behind the camera. I'm not into that Martin Scorsese's and all that stuff. I like their work, but I'm not. I don't.
You like
I
it
don't
if
know.
you like it, but you ain't showing up just because he
who it
directed
is, and
Okay, I
That's
like
just
that.
me.
So this is gonna be a fun journey.
It's gonna be a funny journey.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Evan. Same question. Spielberg, top 10 director for you, top 5 or not? Or are you like Alex, where it's like, well, I mean, I kind of know the answer, but for the people, or is it just like I take them as they come, and if I like them, I like them, and if not, if not.
For Spielberg, he's probably I could remember about 8 or 9 when I started to notice certain films and what's behind them. And I noticed that I started to like Steven Spielberg, and he's probably the first director I learned to named. And from there, I searched him out and wanted to see all of his filmography pretty young. And so he's probably my top director. I know it's cliche to say, but I mean, I'm from the 80s and 90s. I was born in 83. So, I mean, this guy's literally making my childhood films that I grew up. And then I also had Steven Spielberg Presents on Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, like all those cartoons. I mean, so his name was synonymous with just my childhood, even all the producing stuff. So I have always like, if it says directed by Spielberg and I'm like, I don't know if I want to see that movie, but his name's like attached to it. And more than just an executive producer, like he's actually a producer or he directed it. I'm going to maybe search that out a little bit more because I know his style of film is going to be more of what I like. So I'll put him at number 1. So I would have to admit that. So
okay,
I'm excited.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. He's actually my favorite director. He's directed my favorite film of all time, which when we get to it, I'll reveal if you don't know. But you know, he's my favorite director of all time. I agree. Similar to Evan in the sense of like, I just saw so many of these movies growing up. It was just the time. I feel like if I was born in 1940, Hitchcock might be my favorite director because I would have kind of watched his movies in those formative years. That's Spielberg for me. And obviously there were other directors who were working at the same time who I really like, but he's up there for me at number 1. Anything he's attached to directing wise, I've seen. There's not one I haven't seen. I've seen them all. And if he made a movie tomorrow that nobody knew he filmed and it came out, I would go see it. It's an automatic ticket sold. So I agree with you. Now, the movie in question, or the first movie we're going to be covering here on Director Spotlight, is a movie from 1971. Again, it's called Duel. Now, I know you guys have seen this movie before, and we're not going to get into like, what did you think that time? We're just going to cover it from now. But this movie, I'm going to give you some stats, a little bit of background on the film, and then we're just going to go right into it and give our thoughts on the movie, kind of round table, full review. Again, if you've never seen this movie, spoilers. Every episode, we're just going to talk about the movie. There won't be, we may not say, hey, remember at the very end when they killed this guy? Maybe that won't happen, but we're going to speak freely. Also, the movie's 54 years old. So, I think the statute of limitations has passed. But this movie was made for TV. So there was some debate on like, okay, if we're going to do Director Spotlight, what are we covering? I let everyone at home know we're covering this movie, and I'll explain why. Also, we will not be doing anthology movies. So The Twilight Zone, for example, he directed a segment. We're not going to sit here and review a segment of a movie. And we're not doing a director spotlight for all the other directors. So we will not be doing anthologies. And this will be for all episodes moving forward. Unless the same director directed all the shorts in an anthology, then that's different. So no, you won't see that. You will see this, and you will not see any TV episodes because he did start in directing TV episodes before actually doing this. He did a big famous episode of Columbo. Apparently it's like a season premiere episode that really kind of got him on the radar for a lot of people. This movie had a $450,000 budget.
Mm.
It was shot in 13 days, and he went over by 3 days. They gave him 10 days to direct it, and I think 10 days to edit it or whatever to be edited. He went over. However, they were not mad once they got the final product because of what they saw, and they said, you know what? Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. You went over 3 days. Whoop-de-doo. They were still able to get it edited, but $450,000 budget. The reason we're going to do this one is it did come out in the theater. And the version we are all going to talk about today is the theatrical version of the film. Mm. So the original movie was only 74 minutes because that was a running time for a TV movie. It would have been 90 with commercials. There is the version we did is a 90-minute version. It's what played in the theater. It only came out internationally in 1972. So the year after it aired on TV, it got a limited. So I don't have box office numbers for this one. The rest will have box office for.
Yeah.
Unknown because it was a limited run in Europe and they just don't have, they said, you know what? You don't need to know how much it made. Okay. So 450 budget, box office, unknown. Critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 89%. Audience score, 84%. So,
okay,
well reviewed across the board, pretty much. We will be talking about one thing we want to do is talk about awards. Now, just so you guys know, we're going to be doing Academy Awards, but obviously, this was not really eligible for Academy Awards nominations. However, it was eligible for some. It was nominated for 2 Emmy Awards, and it won one of them for sound editing. And it was nominated, and this one I feel like is a good one, a Golden Globe for Best Movie Made for TV. So that's pretty much the best picture of TV movies. It's like the best you can get. It did not win, but it was nominated. However, in hindsight, a lot of critics do cite this as one of, if not the best TV movie that has ever been made. So I guess, in the history of the world, it actually won the Golden Globe. Just a couple of other things, and I thought this was so funny. So he wanted to shoot on location, and the movie was shot on location in California, up in the mountains on all these different roads. However, the studio wanted him to shoot on set. And you might think, well, how the heck can you shoot this movie on set? You know what I mean? And apparently they wanted him to put him in the car, put the screens, and have the guy do this, and then, insert. And he said, no, we got to do it on location. So the producer said, if you can shoot 3 days of footage and it comes out good, we'll let you do it. He did the 3 days, came out good, and they let him shoot outside. So he did not have to film it on set, but I think what a disaster that might have been. I don't think this movie would have got talked about if it had to go that way. And also, he wanted the whole point of the movie, which also is interesting, is the truck itself is the antagonist of the film. It is a being, according to Steven Spielberg. The driver doesn't matter. That's why you never see his face. All you see is his arm and his boots one time. Yeah. That's it. And even at the end of the movie, and you guys, and I'm sure you noticed, when the truck goes over the ledge, it's shot as if a guy died. Like there's like oil dripping, like it was blood from the tire spinning, like it's its last breath of movement. So the truck is the antagonist. There's no human antagonist in this movie. Also, a little fun fact, all the license plates on the front of the truck are supposed to represent other states where this driver killed people in the same way he's attempting to kill our protagonist in this movie. Yes. So there's 6 license plates on it. It's like Nevada, Arizona, whatever. Those he did the same thing. And those Spielberg said it was kind of like in a Western, like if they would put a notch on their revolver when they would shoot somebody. That was what that was supposed to represent. So a little fun fact, and I'm not going to go more into anything else there, but did you guys know any of those things prior to?
No. I mean, it makes sense now. I mean, like a serial killer takes a trophy from their victims, so it kind of makes sense at the end of the day. Yeah.
No, the only thing I would say is that I just know that Steven Spielberg got control for these movies quite quickly for being such a young director. Because I watched one of the documentaries. It said that he got to be part of casting, and that wasn't normal. Like normally directors for TVs just say, "Here's your cast. Here's where you shoot. Now take it." So just the fact that he got that control really quick, just as a testament to how good he was at that time and using his, I guess, connections and his making friends in the business to get that control. Because normally he doesn't, not young directors get that much.
Right. And he did cast the truck. He said even they treated that as if it was a human, because he said they had the other trucks and he's like, I don't like that. It's flat. He wanted the one with the hood on it. It looks like a face, kind of. And also he said the truck went through makeup, just like the actors. They had to dirty it up and put the oil all. He's like, so you had our lead actor in a makeup chair and then the truck in the makeup chair getting painted and splashed. Now, question for you guys before we jump into the reviews. Did you watch this in 4K? Did you buy the 4K for this movie or did you stream it somewhere? Alex?
Yes, I got the 4K. Now, this Joe Joker's movie, our other intern, he sent me.
Okay.
Yeah, Scott sent me this because his dad gave him a copy for Christmas. And he was like, dude, you want my copy? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But because we covered this on the podcast, our action movie podcast. So I had the Blu-ray from that. And then I got upgraded to 4K and then I watched it on 4K.
Nice. Evan, you watched the 4K?
Yes, I got it for my birthday this last month. So
it looks great. I'm not going to lie. Especially for a 53-year-old TV movie or 54-year-old TV movie. Looks pretty darn good. And a last thing I forgot to mention, Steven Spielberg in 2 shots in the movie. One of them you can't see because they cropped it once they released it, but he's in the back seat of the car when he had to be in the back seat for every scene where he was driving because he had to direct him, but he's also in the reflection of the phone booth in the phone booth scene. And they did not remove it. They didn't go back in and digitally scrub him out. Like you could see him there standing when he closes the door and he has the script and he's looking down and he's looking up and then when it comes back to the next shot, then he's not there. Someone must have been like, dude,
get in the way.
Stand over there. Get out the way. So that being said, let's just jump right into it with our review of Duel. Alex, I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on this movie?
Okay, so it's weird because I know it's going to be different from you guys. So this is my second time watching this movie. So, okay, it's weird because this movie is not like it's a very psychological movie at the end of the day, right? It's a guy driving across country, electronics guy, I think salesman, driving across whatever, and this truck just picks on him out of the blue. And then he goes paranoid when he goes into a restaurant. He goes to eat. He starts to paranoid because you don't know who it is. So he's just like freaking out and starts talking to himself like, oh my God. And then he goes up to the wrong guy and gets punched in the face, his ass beat. So that's kind of funny at the end of the day. But that's the more terror is the fact that it's the suspense is that you cannot see the guy who's behind the wheel and why is he picking on this guy out of the blue. That's where I got from it. Now, from point A to point to point B, I think Steven Spielberg did a great job for his first film. For me personally, it was a hard watch to sit through for the second time. The first time I soaked it up, I was like, okay, this is cool. But then the second time that I know where it's going, and I don't watch these type of movies a lot, I'm like, okay, I was kind of bored throughout certain sections of the film. Where certain sections I was into it, there's certain parts I was just like, man, this is really a guy just driving around for an hour and something. And again, like I think the last part of the movie, like the last 30 to 20 minutes is really intense. It's really good. But I think for me, act 1, 2, and then going into 3, I start to get a little bored because it's just one character in a car getting chased, which is, again, I mean, he did a great job. I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. It's like, again, you know when you got something when you do a movie like this, which has nothing. It's just one guy, a truck, which I bet is a stuntman driving behind him, and he made it work. I think it's a great story. I loved it. Felt more because we did the Alfred Hitchcock stuff. It felt kind of Hitchcock with the music. Yeah. It had that music, and I was like, wow, it sounded really cool. Like I was really into it. This is before John Williams. I don't even think John Williams did the score for this. So it felt very like Bernard Herrmann's like score. And I was just like, wow, with the music with the truck.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. It's as far as the score, I'm going to tell you who did the score. It was a guy named Billy Goldenberg. But it's very psycho at a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Well, very. Yeah.
I think when it was sold to Steven Spielberg, it was his manager or someone says they read this because it's a short story in the Playboy magazine. his assistant, and she goes, "This is like a Hitchcock story. You should make it." So he goes in and I forget what studio has it. He goes, "Call them up and get your name in there." So everyone was saying it was Hitchcock. It was like that, taking that simple story and can you make a movie into it, like Birds or Psycho and stuff like that? What can you do with that? So
it was Universal. Was the studio
Universal?
Yeah. I mean, it worked. The soundtrack worked. I think it made it better. But for me, I just certain parts of the movie, I was just like, oh man, this is really drawn out. I felt because this is an hour and 32 minutes, and I felt like it was longer than what it was watching it. The pacing for me was kind of, I was like, woof. But other than that, it's a great first film. It's a very great first film for Steven Spielberg. So yeah, that's what I thought of it. I don't think it's bad. But if there's people out there that watch these type of movies and it's not a slow burn, it's a very, it feels like a Hitchcock movie. I mean, we went through all of them, so I kind of feel like it felt like that, like Saboteur. Like it felt like
we did watch like 15 of them just recently,
and it feels just like that. So not in a bad way. I think it's a great first film. Better than a lot of other people's first films.
Because as an extra, you get the original TV version in full screen. I wonder if you watch it because it would be shorter. Will you enjoy it a little bit more on your
maybe you like the 74-minute version better?
Well, I'll tell you this though, because when the 4K finished, it goes right into that version, and it's the side crops in.
I turned it off.
And that's the one where that version is the one where you could see him in the back seat in one.
Yes,
shot
because it's full frame on the side.
Yes.
Yeah,
and you know what's funny too? So as far as what they added to pad it out, it's like the scene where he's like going to sleep and he's like narrating in the train and all that. Like that was added. That was filmed later. That was not in the original TV version. It's stuff like that. Like it's nothing, even though it's 16 extra minutes, it's a lot of like
reshoots.
They had to go back and reshoot, but it wasn't like action stuff. It was like narration,
more story driven.
Smaller things of him sitting in the car. They added close-ups like of parts where he's just sitting and he's kind of like they're like cat and mouse. It's just more of that basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
fillers.
Filler,
pretty much.
So maybe
fillers.
you might like
fillers.
the shorter version.
They just had to extend the time for theater because they're like going, no one's going to go see a 74-minute movie, so they just needed to.
Well, apparently in Europe it had to be 90 minutes at least, or they wouldn't show it. So they were like, "You better," and that's why the movie's like exactly 90. It's like not even. It's barely anything. Okay, so from what I gather, you respect it more than you enjoy it. As far as the craft, that first time director, well done, but you don't love the movie per se.
Right. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think it's good. It's a solid film, but it's not something that I'll gravitate to go back and be like, let's watch Duel.
It's time to watch Duel, baby. I hear you. All right, Evan, what do you think about this movie?
So I've seen it once before, and it was on DVD at a friend's house, and we're like, let's do all the Spielberg movies back then when DVD just came out, because it was a very hard movie to find before DVD. I don't know if it had a VHS, but I could never find it, right? It's not one of those easy accessible movies. So I remember it came out on DVD, my friend bought it, and we just watched it. And so this was a much more enjoyable viewing for me. I would agree with, in the sense of what Alex is saying, I would never have put this movie as like, hey, you want to find out what a great movie is, or Spielberg, don't hand this movie. Because I think you have to love film at this point to really like enjoy this movie, because it is kind of slow. It's stuff like for a TV, I bet you at that time would have been mind blowing a little bit more of going, holy cow, what are we watching? I love the intro. Like Steven Spielberg, you could tell he understands film and he loves film, and there's nothing else he could do. Because if you watch his earlier shows, like my dad gave me Columbo. I watched the first two movies that were TV movies of Columbo, and then it starts the TV show. And I said, who directed this? Because all of a sudden you're noticing the camera work, and all of a sudden Spielberg's name pops up. I'm like, oh, there's the Columbo episode that people, because I didn't know it. So you starting to see Spielberg just become a masterclass. And it's like, I akin it to like Elton John's first album, maybe Stephen King's first book, Carrie. You're like going, how did these become your first things that you create? Because they're so perfect. The opening scene of just saying, hey, we're not going to show you any humans. We're just going to show you the car driving from the car's point of view. I mean, that how is that possible? And that's such an enjoyable. It's a little creepy because I live in California. I have driven most of those roads. I have been on some of these side roads that get very scary because you're like, I'm the only car out here, and there's no service. And this is now. Imagine that back then, right? Where there's no cell phone, there's no nothing. Like you're in the middle of nowhere. So that's a cool aspect for me. But just the idea that this car that we don't see a person is scary, and just the creative ways that in that diner scene you put it on, that you think, is that the driver? And then how it drives around the truck and it's a different truck. Like each way he's just lagging, and like how he sets up shop. And then how we care for the character, like just that phone call to his wife saying that they had a fight, and just that little that we get to know him as a person. I mean, that's just so masterful. I mean, the script writer who wrote that, who also wrote the short story, which is based off of something that happened in real life. So you just have all this stuff working together. The only thing I think that really annoyed me is the overdub. What is it? The narration. Because he's always by himself. He could have been saying that out loud. He didn't need, like that. I think would have gone over better because the narration audio just sounds a little wonky compared to the rest of the film, and it just doesn't feel. It draws me out whenever time he talks because I'm like, "Oh, you're in your car by yourself. You're in the bathroom by yourself. Like, why are you thinking? Like, what? Why can't you just say it out loud?" I think that drove me a little nuts when I was watching it. I was like,
I feel the opposite. If someone like was just talking to themselves, I'd be like, that's weird. Like if he's thinking, yeah, I think it's weirder for him to be in the car being like, why is this guy chasing me? I'm just by myself out here on the road. To think it is one thing, but to just be talking to yourself, because it happens a number of times, it'd be kind of weird.
I guess so. But I also think that it comes out of like the first like 20, 30 minutes of him actually being chased. He doesn't do it. He doesn't. Right. We didn't get the first narration until the bathroom. And then we get like two more times. And that like, if it was cohesive throughout the film of doing narration, like it didn't seem like it was. I need to watch. I've never seen the TV version. Do we know if it's in the TV version, or is that something that?
No, it is because the bathroom scene is those. Yeah, I think 2 of the 3 scenes are in there. And I will say to your point, he does talk to himself once or twice, and in those instances, I don't think it was weird. For example, when he waves him and he's like, "Oh, this guy's just great," or because you're kind of like, you know. That is natural. But then the monologue type stuff where it's like, if he was doing this monologue out loud alone, I would think he's a weirdo now. And I'd be like, this is bizarre.
Well, I would say this. I just think the way Steven Spielberg thought about it is I literally think he was thinking of it as a Hitchcock way of the guy is literally starting to lose his mind. Because if you really hear his while he's driving, he's paranoid. He's starting to get paranoid. Why is this guy picking on me? And he's like, "Oh, you want to go 100?" And he's like, and the guy's just like, a truck. Yeah. A truck goes 10 times faster anyway because it has those V12 engines and everything. So like you see the progression of craziness starting to kick on this guy. Like he's starting to lose it. Like from the beginning, there's nothing, right? Because he doesn't know the guy is picking on him, but then it's starting to wear on him. Like, oh boy. Here we go now. And then
the diner scene is perfect for that. Like how he's trying to figure out.
He's like, which one of these guys is that guy?
And
but audio, even in the car too. In the car works very well because even with him silent, he's starting to do the panic, like looking in the mirror, and then he starts to look in the other mirror, and he's just like, and then he's sweating, and you can see that his mind is just racing and racing, and that's really good directing for if he's sitting in the background and he's like, brother, I need you to look paranoid all over the place, and I mean it's a great job. Yeah,
he did a lot of his own driving in the movie.
Yeah. So to that, I totally understand what you're saying. But I kind of see those scenes totally different. I mean,
it's a preference thing. I would just give it. Yeah. I wouldn't love that, but if you would, I totally get it.
And it's one of that. And what's the beauty of this podcast? Because now you've put your point of view. Yeah. Now, when I go rewatch it, I get to think about that and go, okay, this works better, right? Yeah. So because that's a hard time. Like watching movies in a vacuum is not you've sometimes missed things because it becomes your preference and you might have missed that. Like him breaking down and psychological, like now when I go rewatch it, I think I could put that in my head and enjoy that aspect a little bit more. But the audio is jarring a little bit when that audio comes over. I think most of the time I do like original audio, but I decided to get, is this Dolby Atmos?
Yeah, it's Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, and I thought it was a beneficial because whenever that truck was that buzz, and it was really good. I really liked how every character we meet has like a purpose and has like a little background. Like the lady, don't forget to see my snakes or whatever she says, like over there. And he looks, why do you have these snakes? Like, and I just didn't understand. Like my big thing was because once you get the phone booth crash, he starts picking up like the stuff like to help, and then he's coming back around. Why aren't you guys like completely running away from like that place? I was the only time where I'm like going, okay, your action doesn't make sense to me, because any other time, like I thought his actions does make sense for the situation he's in. Like when he asks the old people to call cops and they're like, we don't want any trouble. Like that. No. But that makes sense.
No.
Yeah. Or the scene when he tries to help push the bus, which I don't know why they thought that car was going to do that. But then showing the car down the truck in the aisle and then the lights turning on with like eyes. That was dope. The music was perfect. It was awesome. I enjoyed it. I really thought the ending was anticlimactic because once you start seeing, and then it ends with him just sitting there. I'm like, what are we watching? Why did we end there? Like, I don't understand like fully, except for like this truck is dead. And I'm sorry, you totally could see when it's crashing, there's no one in it. So I thought he was going to come out from like the cliff
climbing
side,
out the side.
Climbing out, because you see when the truck's falling, there's no one in the truck. So
and the door's open.
Yeah, the door's open.
Whoever was driving it probably jumped out.
Yes. So, but I mean, that's nitpicking. But I enjoyed it. I definitely do not. I agree. I would not start someone in their Spielberg journey with this movie. This would be down the line. See what you say, and then go back to it, because that's where you notice it. This movie on itself, if any other director, I don't think would be that famous. I think it was Spielberg. I think it would have been a great TV show for a movie that people enjoyed, but it's Spielberg who makes the movie great. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's the way he directed it, the way he did it, because I don't think anyone else would have opened that opening scene. I'm like, we don't see a human for, I want to say 10 minutes. With them just exiting LA and how we do that and go that.
No, you're right. And you know, it's funny. Before we let Nate tell his thing, I kind of agree with you. There's certain directors that you don't want to watch the first film, right? You see their body of work and then you go, where did this guy all come from? And then you go to number one and then you go, did he have it when he first did it or he didn't? Did he graduate? Like did he get better per film the older he got? And the other person I'm going to say is Christopher Nolan. We've seen tons of his work, right? We did, the Prestige. I think
we did him on a director spotlight.
Yeah, we did the director spotlight. Yeah, we saw them all. So we saw like Interstellar, Prestige, Inception, all the Batmans. But when we started from the first one, the following. You could totally see that this guy had an eye for directing. You're going, damn. Because that movie was good, and it had nobody that we knew.
It cost $15 to make, and it was like pretty good.
It was pretty well, and it reminded me of this movie, Duel, because I'm like, man. But it took me a while to get to that because I seen all his popular what put him on the map, and I'm okay going back to number one to see how did this all start from, and that's why I dig the director spotlight because we started from their number ones, and you're going, man, did he really have it? Yeah, I could really say Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg really have it. And what you said about a director when they're behind the camera and then you see the body of work show and then you're going, damn, who is this guy? It happened with Quentin Tarantino and CSI. When you put that CSI episode of Quentin Tarantino directing, you're going, damn, this is a TV show. This is really, it looks like a movie. But anyway, I don't want to take the whole thing.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's the whole point. And Spielberg shot that Columbo, he said it, as a movie. He's like, it's only a 1 hour TV episode, but I shot it like it was a film. There's angles in there that are probably not normal for the show. The part where they have clips and the guy like picks up the gun and he like points it right at the camera. And I'm like, that looks like from an old movie more than from a TV show.
And it has a slow burn. Like if you watch that, like they're taking long scenes of like just the parking lot of a car driving out, where like a TV show would have taken that long. It's like quick cuts. Yeah. And that's where I think Spielberg definitely, I was noticing this that I'd want to know, does he keep it? Is he does longer shots. Some of these shots are very long and I'm trying to remember, does he keep that habit or does he switch it per style of movie? Because that's what I was thinking too. Because some of these shots I thought were extremely long for a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
Just holding the camera out.
Yeah, he's not known for long takes, but I'll touch on something there in this movie. I'll push back not push back. You got your review's good. Both of you agree with a lot of what you said. I just disagree on one element, and I think this is actually where if I had a friend who's like never seen a Spielberg movie, let's just say they're young, they're just getting into like movies, I would start with Duel. I would feel very comfortable starting, like, you got to see this director. He's the greatest of all time. If I'm speaking for myself, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta see where he started. And the funny thing is, like, a lot of what's in this is in later movies that he made. So I'm a big fan of seeing a progression rather than, let's say, starting at the middle and then working my way back. And that's what I did because I was not born in 1971. So I could not have seen this movie when it came out. I had to do it this way. But like, I look at it like when I see movies now, if I see a director and it's like, this is their first, like Jordan Peele, you know, like Get Out was his first movie. I'm glad that I saw that first and not third or fourth or whatever, right?
I see what you mean.
And and I think it's the same way. Like if I'm showing someone Spielberg, I would start, and this movie, the funny thing is, and obviously we're not reviewing it now, but like this movie's way better than Sugarland Express. And that's his first like feature film, theater. I would be surprised if you guys like that one more than this. I genuinely would. Maybe you will. I don't know. But to me, this is a way tighter movie. The execution is great. He copied, there's parts in this that he pretty much reused in Jaws. He talked about it at the end with the shark and the thing going down and they did a side-by-side. I don't know if you guys watched all the features. Evan, sounds like you might have. Alex, if you didn't. They do a side-by-side of the truck going down the mountain and then Jaws, like, after he explodes, the body going down. Yeah, and it's like the blood is the same as the dust and the truck coming out is the same as the fin. Like, he liked it so much in his original movie, and he said he's a big fan of nostalgia. So he's like, I liked it. So, and they even used this, he said he even used the same sound effect. And maybe a lot of people wouldn't notice because maybe they didn't see the TV movie. But I think it's, you know, the fact that on his first film, he had things that he's like, you know what, this was good. I'm going to use it again. I think this movie, I agree with Alex, very Hitchcockian. That's what I get. Maybe I've seen it maybe 3 times now. This movie, very Hitchcockian, definitely a thriller. As far as genre, I don't look at it as a horror movie, but some people, you could kind of like, I mean, it's a killer truck. It's to me, this is as much of a horror movie as Jaws. If you think Jaws is a horror, then so is this. I think both of them are more like thrillers, if anything. But you know, you never see the driver. Doesn't matter because it's the truck is what's trying to drive him, not the man. The man doesn't. You don't know him. You don't know what he's thinking. This scary truck is trying to drive this little red car off the road. I think for a first-time director, and you guys both said it, it's rare to see a first-time director do something this good. That wasn't like, he's only 25 when he made this movie. 25 years old.
Oh, wow.
Even if you compare Jordan Peele, let's say, because Get Out, that was a Oscar winner, you know, first movie. But the guy had been working in the industry as an actor for a while. He was more seasoned as far as in what he's done. Like, this is like a kid coming off the street, did a couple TV shows, and is like, I'm getting a movie. You know what I mean?
And don't forget Spielberg, though, he has been making movies since he was 8 as possible.
Sure. Yeah.
But he's not just like saying, let me take home. He wants to learn how to make movies. So he's studying the art. He's studying the craft. It's kind of like I akin it to an athlete who's studying a sport at a young age. Like, he's getting ready. It's not like someone who says, I want to try to be a director at 20.
Sure.
I'm
not saying like this was him, like Alex. If Alex said, I want to make a movie right now, he's never done anything.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. But what I mean is the experience level of being in the industry is much less. And that's why Nolan, I think, Alex, that was a good comp because he had none. No. He actually had none. And he filmed like with his friends, walking around streets. And to come out with that, is it his best movie? No, of course not. It's rare that your first is your best. And if it is, that's usually not a great sign. If your first movie, you can never beat it again. That's not the case here because this is not his best movie. But I do think it's a very good movie. I think it's very good. I do agree. There are parts that kind of drag in the second act, especially.
Yeah.
Like the diner scene. By the way, Evan, that's a long take that they did. I'm a sucker for long takes. From when he comes in the diner, goes to the bathroom, washes his hands, come back out, goes to the window. It's like a good 8 or 9 minutes, and there's no cuts. It's just one long, and I love that. And you could even tell the way it's shot looks different because they had to go handheld. Because at the time, they didn't have steady cams. So it was like they had to just handheld it and then do all the audio again later, which once you know all that stuff, like the mouths don't match, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's still cool, right? Like it's still, it's very like bold to do. Like I'm doing a little TV movie. I'm gonna do a long take with a
question.
I think
you guys might know this more than me. He came from film school, right? With George Lucas. They were best friends in film school, right?
USC or UCLA, one of them. Yeah, they were film school guys. And Coppola, I think. They like all were like
yeah, so
together.
that's what I'm saying. So like, is it, so then if you really think about it, like even with because Christopher Nolan was his first film school movie, The Following. That was like his film school. So do you think those traits of film school learning, because they're all different, right? If you even go to film school now, it's like they're newer or whatever. And those guys learned it from the 70s or whatever when they went to film school. You think those shots like that, going to the bathroom with the handheld and everything, like those techniques that they learned from film school?
I would say that Spielberg and like what we think of film school today is not what they went through. What they did was they went to a school, learned how to make movies with other movie makers. It's like people who went to Disney and they're like learning how Disney animated styles, but they're in the small, like there's not a refined thing. They're learning from the people who are making films. There's not like today, I would say there's now a film school teacher who might never make a film, but he could tell you how to make a film. Like there's so much more of that. But like Spielberg, they're talking to the people who know how to do it. And then all of them are grouped together and like they become a little bit of a small group of directors that stick together that grows out of that. So, but I would say it's a little different because you have New York as acting for your actors.
The theater, usually.
The theater.
Yeah.
And then and California becomes the hodgepodge for filmmakers. And
I would say, though,
like that.
To answer your question, Alex, I think yes. Because, for example, he talks about the guy that plays in the movie, the lead actor. What's his name? Dennis Weaver, I think his name is. He was in Touch of Evil, right?
Weaver.
Which is an Orson Welles movie. That movie opens with a long take. And Spielberg said he was going crazy because they got a guy that played a small role in that movie. He's like, I love that movie. I love his performance. Knowing that he loves that movie, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, okay, I'm familiar with this movie. Maybe he saw, because I know one big thing with film school is like you usually watch a lot of older movies so you can learn technique. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like skill and application, almost like a perfect blend. Like I have learned all these things and I have creative ability and now they're going to come out on the screen at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And Hitchcock was big for on long films. The Rope.
Rope was famous one for long take movie, pretty much.
Yeah, that was a whole.
So because literally Hitchcock would just wait till the reel stopped There was no more film in the camera, and that's when they knew when to cut. I think what you're getting out of Francis Ford Coppola and Spielberg and George Lucas, this understanding where movies came from and honoring them, but also challenging them at the same time. Because that's the one thing I was like going, no one makes just a good, what maybe you would count paint by numbers film. Like, this is just a good film. Everyone wants to do their own style, their own creativity. They know what I'm like, but what makes Spielberg sometimes great, he goes, what serves the story? And like here, if he was doing a whole bunch of fancy shots, which if you notice, all his shots were pretty, everything's because of probably for TV was right there in the center.
Yeah.
Straight shots. We're not being too creative. We knew exactly what we're seeing, the actors in focus. And when we're not supposed to know, that's what we're getting. We're getting a pretty clean film. And I think that's a good thing sometimes, not a negative, because he's honoring the story to the people who came before you. So you have Kubrick and you have Hitchcock. Like, you could see their threads in this film, and that's okay.
Which everything you just said is why I think this is actually a great movie, even for a first time. You know what I mean? Like, the execution there. Now, some things that I like, especially, and once you kind of know, like I think the way it's shot though is, I don't get TV from it. It looks like a film to me. You know what I mean? Like an actual film. Again, because they didn't shoot on a set and they shot on location, he got to get very creative with the camera. Them things are not going that fast, but you shoot it in a way where it looks like it's going much. He said sometimes the truck was going 30, but it looked like it was going faster because they put a mountain behind it. So now there's something going past, and now it looks like it's going fast. It's actually going pretty slow. So even technique at that age, I think it's good. Now, the movie itself, again, a little boring in the middle. I agree with Alex on that. The narration, now, Evan, I will say, in general, I don't love narration in movies. It depends. In this case, it's an inner monologue, so it worked for me. What I don't like is when it's not that, and then there's a narration. Like a movie we're not going to do here because he's not directed it. I always go back to it because it makes me laugh. It's like Carlito's Way. I hate the narration in that movie. Okay. I think it's goofy and it makes me laugh and it's weird. Like, is he reading a book of his life to us? Like, what is this? Whereas here, it's like, this is what this guy's thinking. And to Alex's point, like, he's getting progressively more scared and more crazy and more paranoid. I love this scene with the phone booth. One of my favorite, like that truck is just driving in circles, and the old lady's like, "My snakes, like,
my lizards,
my lizard." Yeah, it makes me laugh every time. I like that. The bus scene drives me nuts, but it does make me laugh too, because I love the part where the truck gets stuck, the car gets stuck, and the bus driver's like, "Man, I didn't think this was gonna happen." And he's like, "I told you it was gonna get stuck," and he's like, "Well, I'll help you get it out." Don't sit on the hood.
All the kids just making faces at him, like he's trying to help you. Why are you antagonizing him?
And that adds to the whole thing of like, you put yourself in this guy's shoes. Not only is this guy trying to kill you, now you're stuck. These kids are annoying you.
Yeah,
you had a tarantula crawling on you. You had this is like the worst day ever type scenario, right? And then the last thing I'll say that always makes me laugh, when he goes to the diner, and I knew it was coming because, again, this is my third time seeing it, but I'm never prepared for when the lady's asking him what he wants to eat and he orders a cheese sandwich. I'm like, was this a popular dish in diner?
Yes.
A cheese, just cheese and bread? Ew. He's like, cheese. Swiss on rye. I'm like, ew, that sounds like, like
diarrhea.
I like a grilled cheese sandwich, but just a dry cheese sandwich. It cracks me up every time he orders it. I start laughing. But anyway, I think the performance is good. It's really a one-man show. Like, you have a couple little side characters that he interacts with here and there, but it's just his show. I think it's good. Is it Spielberg's greatest? No. Is it a very solid movie? Yes, I think it's a very good thriller. I know it's made for TV, but to me, it just feels like a movie. It doesn't necessarily feel like I watch a Netflix movie now, and that feels more like a TV movie than this feels like a TV movie. Like, this feels like a film that could have and should have played in the theater, and it wouldn't have been any different quality wise. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like it's weird because nowadays when you watch a straight to whatever movie you want to call it, it has this polished look that you go, oh, this looks like
a filtered, phony look.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a movie. You just go, oh, okay, this is a streaming service movie.
And some of our TV shows that are like, you know, on HBO or stuff looks like and feels like a movie. And you're like going, there's like 8 episodes. Like it has blended because before back then it was definitely you had TV cameras that were cheaper and TV film that was cheaper and all that stuff. And movies had a bigger budget and bought different cameras, different film. And so that was just right off the bat differentiating. But now it's all digital. So you could all make it look what you want to look.
Well, the thing that I wanted to jump on before we start wrapping things up was when you were talking about the group of those famous directors all together. I mean that's like a legendary film school of those guys. But I will say it's harder now, and I don't know, it could be just me, but looking through the lens of someone that just watches movies or TV shows, it's harder for just a normal Joe Schmo to go behind a camera and put a basic. They have to do something to put their name attached to it. Whatever it is, I mean, I don't know. It could be anything. But I see what you mean. But for this generation, you got to be known for, like Michael Bay is known for the stupid thing with the rotating cameras and all that stuff and the desaturated.
You have to have kind of like a stamp.
Yeah, like a flare.
Yeah. Well, so the director of F1 and Top Gun Maverick, I would argue, is in that. Those shots are pretty set up clear and straight, and people like those, like we're getting that he gets Joseph a lot Kaczynski? Of those. Yeah, that guy.
But even that's developed because like his first movies are like Tron Legacy doesn't look like that, and Oblivion doesn't look like that, and it's more of a developed over time.
Yes, and he talked about that Tom Cruise helped him get his thing through Maverick, and that's why F1 looks like what it looks like. Tom Cruise helped him develop that way of shooting, which now I bet his next other film is going to do that same look.
It's like
in the
put
cockpit.
You in the seat type.
Yeah.
Thing. Yes.
He knows that works. So, you know what? I just think it's a generational thing. I just think wherever film school you go to, I mean, there's dudes that did YouTube are filmmakers. I mean, and they just watch movies like all of us. I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like these guys had it. For an old movie, like I said. But one thing I did wanted to talk about, we could do it quick, is I wish every movie in 4K comes with the director's first film on the damn box. I know it sounds corny and it sounds stupid, but I think it's awesome that you grab it and it says Steven Spielberg's first film or Jordan Peele's first film.
Let's say, Steven Spielberg's first film, Duel.
Yeah.
Like I like that. I agree with you. Like, what if
it makes sense?
Like my example, like, what if you're a young person and you've never you like let's just say Ready Player One. Let's say you saw Ready Player One. You're like, this movie's awesome. I love Ready Player One. Who made it? Steven Spielberg. And you're like 18, and then you go somewhere and you see, oh shoot. Steven Spielberg's first film, Duel. I want to check this out. Why? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Labeling it like that.
I'm not saying.
Do you want them to label second film, third film?
No, just the first.
No. just the first film for every director. So like when you grab it, you go, wow, Alfred Hitchcock's first film. Like you go, damn, like this is pretty interesting. Like, I mean, when these guys were talking about Alfred Hitchcock, I mean, this dude did movies for like every company. I didn't know that. I thought it was all under one dude. So I think it's a very interesting topic. Like, should they print first film on the director's first movie ever on the thing? Like Criterion.
Let me backtrack. I think they should do it if their first film is like not as known. Like this. This is not a big known movie. Nolan's, I feel like they should like following. I think they can put it. I don't think they should put it on like Get Out by Jordan Peele because that was a big theatrical. Big hit. This was a TV movie. So I think
Reservoir Dog.
Yeah, like if it's a small movie and that people don't know, like Ridley Scott. What was Ridley Scott's first movie? I bet nobody even could tell me what it is.
I'll say Aliens.
I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure he made something before that. So like,
it's like The Revisionist or something like that.
Yeah, like it would be cool if it said Ridley Scott's first film, and then whatever it is. Yeah, let's see. Like, just check. But yeah, I think if it's like a lesser known, that they should. I think they did something like that with Francis Ford Coppola. That Dementia 13. I don't know if it said like first film, but I know they made it like this was one of his early films.
Well, it's weird because as a movie, like his first few is like TV shows and short movies.
Okay.
1974, it's weird, but it says The Duelist, 1977.
Duelist, yeah.
But the one before that is called the Hovis, whatever.
H-O-V-I-S.
Boy on a Bike, 1973.
And that's a movie.
So it says
it a short
directed
film?
video. It could be a short, but you know what? I'm going to go with The Duelist. Let's just go with
The Duelist.
1977
I've
Duelist.
seen that movie. Have you seen that movie?
No, but I saw
I
the one that after that, Alien.
All right, so his second movie. That's my
His
point.
second movie
His second
is-
movie is so much more famous than his first movie.
Yeah, you're right. Well, not
They're
the
not
third, too.
close. Yeah, The Duelist is like with Harvey Keitel and Keith Carradine, and like
Yeah.
I didn't even like it. I saw it. I didn't even like it that much. But it's like, who knows that? If you're a diehard film fan, maybe, or if you're a diehard Ridley Scott fan, but like the general person, or especially if you're getting into movies. So yeah, Alex, I agree. If that's the case, but like if Alien was his first film, I don't think they need to put.
But that's crazy.
Ridley
Like
Scott's
even
first
look.
movie.
Well,
Alien.
true, but it's weird because if you look at that, and I mean, again, we're going to tackle Ridley Scott down the line in one of the seasons, but it's weird, right? Because you got The Duelist 1977, then Alien 1979, then it came to like another big one, Blade Runner, and then from Blade Runner, it was I just literally just saw it,
But you
and
know
I was
what?
just like,
He's
wow,
got
that's
some in
another
there that
big
you
movie.
have never.
Oh,
like,
Legend.
Okay, Legend. But then you're going to get to like the late 80s, early 90s where he did movies you don't even know that Ridley Scott made. So he's had a kind of a crazy career. But either way, I like it if it's like a lesser, like this. This was a TV movie.
Yeah.
Evan mentioned it. He had it on DVD, but before that, you couldn't even find the thing. You know what I mean? Like, then throw it on there. Let's sell a couple more copies. I'm okay with it. And maybe someone discovers it and, goes down the path. So that being said, that's our thoughts. Alex, what do you score this movie? What do you give it out of a 10?
Oh, so out of a 10, this is very weird because I think with the elements of his, like, he was very good for 25 years old. Like, I mean, this guy was polished. He must have graduated with like high honors.
Valedictorian.
Yeah, I can see why George Lucas and him are super close when it comes to like talking about stories and all this stuff. I still believe in my heart that he should have ended the Star Wars trilogy. Steven Spielberg doing his friend's work. I think it would have been awesome. But with that said, I will say I'm giving this movie a 7 out of a 10. I think it's a solid first film. There's a little fluff in the middle. But other than that, if you like Hitchcock, you might love this movie, to be honest with you. I think it fits along those lines. So, 7 out of 10.
Good comp. All right, Evan, what do you got?
Same score, 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not it's not like the best movie ever, but it's amazing for what it is in the sense of a TV made movie done by a young director. We're getting way more out of this than any other TV made movie by a young director. So it's a 7.
Yep.
Fair. I'm a little higher. I think it is an 8 out of 10 movie. I think it is very well made, very well shot, all things considered. But beyond that, I like this movie. I do. I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it a few times. Not my favorite by any means, but very solid, great thriller. I agree. And for 70s movies, 70s is a decade that's like, for me, is kind of hit or miss anyway. So for a 70s movie, I think it's great. And Alex, I got just the last touch on it. Like that film, like that little group, the fact that Coppola and Spielberg and Lucas and they all knew each other and all, the fact that they made like 10 or 15 of the most iconic movies in the history of movies, and they all like know each other and like went to school, because like Coppola made The Godfather. That is like cinema history. Spielberg made freaking like 5 movies. Everything. You could apply that to. Spielberg, Lucas created Star Wars, which is like one of the, it's pretty crazy. That whoever, if they were in a class together, that teacher, they should be in the Hall of Fame of that school for like.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, all 3 of them. But if you really, really look at it, you could see who was the talented out of the 3. Now I don't watch. And for those of you out there, don't roast me because I don't watch Frank Coppola stuff, whatever his name is. Sounds like a pasta name.
Francis Ford Coppola. He has a wine. He does wine.
Yeah. I don't follow
I go there all the time.
I never watched none of his films. So when we do his stuff, it'll be like mostly all first time watches. But what I mean is Steven Spielberg, in terms of body of work, I think has more hits. Because George Lucas stopped. He does not do nothing.
Any of them.
Yeah. Yes. So what I mean is, in terms of creativity and the love of passion for film, I can't talk for those two guys, but you could see Steven Spielberg, like Evan said, he loved movies. He wanted to make people happy with films, and you could see it in those earlier movies. I mean,
and he played the game the best. So he actually worked with Paramount, then created his own studio. Francis Ford Coppola hated Hollywood, so he's only doing The Godfather so he can make his other movies. So he's leaving.
Now. He did Apocalypse Now, which is very famous.
But he doesn't want to be part of the Hollywood thing. I mean, that's Spotlight. What he's always been. Yeah, he's always famous of doing it. And George Lucas, once he does Star Wars, he's like, I got all my money.
George Lucas only directed like 7 movies or something like that. So,
he was another one that hated Hollywood. He hates the whole politics around it. Like, he talked about. So he's like
Spielberg
awards,
is the
awards
of the three of them for sure.
But Spielberg made more money out of Star Wars because they traded points off of Jaws and Star Wars.
See that?
So,
but that's what I'm saying. When together, and they did Indiana Jones, which is another one of the most iconic things of all time.
But imagine having a friend like that you could just call up and go, "Hey, I need a pointer for this movie," and the guy goes, "Okay, do this," and he has no credit on the film.
Yeah, they were not competitive. They
no.
Like they were both like, "You do your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll both make classic movies and tons of money."
We'll end it on this because I don't know if you guys knew this. Steven Spielberg did this thing a long time ago. He was talking about that he was shooting Schindler's List at the same time as Jurassic Park. He called George Lucas to finish the effects for Jurassic Park while he was doing Schindler's List. He goes, "Do what you got to do." And he goes, "Send me the finished product and whatever." So technically, George Lucas kind of did work
on it. Yeah. I can't wait till we get to like the 93 section of Spielberg because those both came out in the same year.
I didn't know that. He talked about it's great to have a friend that our minds are like kind of similar, that I could just call him and be like, "Listen, I need you to finish my film. Like, this is what I did." And off you go. And he did. He finished Jurassic Park. I mean, he's not credited.
He didn't direct it, but he just editing, I'm sure.
He was just like, you know my taste.
It was his computers. It's the Pixar computers and all of his stuff that he was using.
Doing a good job on my movie while I go do this.
Yes.
Got you, bro. Don't worry about it.
Pretty
much. A 7, and an 8 to start off. I mean, I will say, no matter what, coming out the gate's pretty good. I mean, for a first movie, pretty well done. And we have 33 more. So this will be one season. This is season 1, episode 1. There'll be 33 more episodes. And again, we won't start with all those. So they'll be a little shorter because we're just going to dive right into like the facts and the reviews moving forward. But Alex, go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. That is episode 1. We did Duel 1971. Coming up next is going to be the Sugarland Express from 1974. Again, if you guys are listening to us on the podcast, please leave a rating, leave some comments there. Of course, subscribe on all podcast platforms. And you guys are watching us on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave comments on your favorite Steven Spielberg movies or what your thoughts on Duel from 1971. And again, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. Our co-host is, we're all hosts anyway, but the host across
Alex,
the board.
Nate, Evan.
Evan.
There you guys have it. Be awesome to each other and geek out.